We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this.
And what this is from Torchbearer, it is the Mushroom Mayhem, one of the later season Hot Ones sauces. We have a guy, the flamethrower, I guess, attacking mushrooms. Okay, right on. So we go with red wine vinegar, tomato paste, water, habanero pepper, brown sugar, scorpion pepper. We have mandarin orange, horseradish, garlic, molasses, black pepper, salt, shiitake mushrooms, shiitake mushroom powder rather, portobello mushroom powder, allspice, and paprika. Now what's interesting is some of those spices wind up in things like, if you're familiar with the old Hardee's Mushroom and Swiss Burger. And that was naturally the first thing I thought of when I saw this. And I kind of wish I wouldn't have, because I was expecting a flavor similar to that. It is certainly not that. This actually, I really thought it was going to have a lot more umami flavor than it actually does. It is there, the garlic and the mushroom seed of that, but it also has got a certain astringency that I wasn't really expecting. We've got molasses and brown sugar, which is almost kind of doubling up on the brown sugar. And horseradish, so some of this stuff kind of leans almost towards a steak sauce, and maybe that's what they had in mind for this as well. I don't actually know. It's another sort of mind-melting sauce from Torchbearer, I think. And I never quite know what the intent of their sauces are, but they come up with some wild doozies. This one is, I think, definitely pretty unique. And I mean, it sort of touches on I think one of the later trends have been, mushrooms and truffles in particular, thanks to one very highly promoted sauce that I didn't personally enjoy very much. Maybe it's leaning into that a bit. I'm not quite sure, but it's this sort of nice, sort of deep brown color. It reminds me a little bit more, I think, of a mole than a hot sauce, but definitely flavor-wise, it is not in mole territory, like even slightly. So, with that out of the way, let's get on into it. Right away, we get a little bit of fruitiness, thanks to the mandarins, followed almost immediately by the scorpions and the habaneros. A little bit more forward on the habaneros, I would say. Mushroom is a little bit back end on this. When the scorpions come on, we definitely have a bit of flowery, floral notes to this. It's an interesting sauce. It's kind of in this, it's another one. I say this a lot these days because I think a lot of sauce makers are taking some interesting chances with stuff. But this one for me is just kind of honestly okay. I don't dislike it, but I don't really like it super well either. It's kind of in the middle. It's for me a lot more of an interesting sauce than I think it is an actual good sauce. And I think it just doesn't speak to my palate particularly. And that happens sometimes. It's not bad. I'm going to go through this whole bottle. I like this sauce. It's got a there is a fair amount of punchiness to this sauce, and in that respect, I mean, with the scorpions, I think it was 6 on the show. I want to say I gave it about a 2 for heat, so usually the show, I either have to cut the slot in half, sometimes a third, but we'll see as I get into this more. Maybe it is a 3, I'm not sure. It is definitely got some bite to it. 3 is about where the divine line is, where I say, if it's a 3 for me, normies are probably not going to enjoy the sauce. It'll be too hot for them. So this one, we'll get into this a little bit more and just kind of see where it falls. Right now, it's I can't remember what I gave it in the written review. You can check down below where the actual score was. There's a link down in the description, but I want to say I gave it either a 2 or a 3. I just don't actually recall. But, so, speaking of mushroom Swiss, that's what I made. Look at that. There it is. So, every once in a while, I will get this wild hair up my keister to try to recreate some of the sauces or some of the foods from my youth, right? And so I'm Gen X. One of the things that they used to have, I don't know if they still do, it's changed over so many times. One of the things they used to have was, let's try some actually with the mushrooms too. At Hardee's was a mushroom and Swiss burger. And I must have had, well, I used to work at Hardee's a long, long time ago, so I had a lot of those. I had a lot of those burgers. And I think since they've merged or been bought by Carl's Jr. or whatever happened there, I don't know that exists. But every once in a while, I'll see it on a menu and I'll think, that's worth a try. Most of the time, they don't recreate the sauce. So I'll get, So when you, man, look at me. I'm getting way off track here. Okay. Let's talk about the sauce I made here before we actually get into the burger and trying it out and so on. Let's do that. So there's a couple different things I've seen online about how to recreate it. And there's different bases you can use if you don't want to make it from scratch. One of them is a mushroom gravy mix. And it's not actual gravy though. So I did make some of this just to play around with stuff. 100% of the time when you buy stuff, you almost always have to modify it. It's just kind of the way it goes. The other one is this. So people say this Campbell's Golden Mushroom Soup. Now the problem with this is that it tastes like a soup. And that mushroom and Swiss sauce was not a soup. So what I did was I just tinkered around with the seasonings and flavorings and stuff like that. I wouldn't say it's exact, but it is kind of close. So essentially what I did was basically 2.5 to 1. So if I put in 4 tablespoons, then I would put in 6 to 8 of these. And that moved it away from being a soup and into something kind of good. So this one I added to basically that concoction there. It's not perfect. You're not going to recreate the Hardee's unless you sit and play around with adding different spices and stuff, which I did. But I wasn't keeping super track of those because honestly I was just trying to get it close so I could add this as a final component to see how close the addition of this would make to it. This does have some of the things that you need for that. You need small spice, you need some paprika, maybe a little salt and pepper, maybe a little onion and garlic powder. So, anyway, double Swiss on this. Burgers on the Foreman. Oh man. A burger's the way I always do burgers. A little salt, pepper. That is outstanding. I wouldn't say it's a good approximate for the Hardee's, but it is really, really good. Pairing this with mushrooms, definitely the way to go. Definitely. I added some of this, you saw me earlier, just to the mushroom sauce itself. It adds a nice bit of flavor to it. This sauce, where it's kind of the standalone, I don't like it. In the context here, though, where we put it on a burger, it's contributing, but we're losing a lot of the floral notes, and we're getting a lot more of the amplification of the mushroom, which is exactly what we want. It's also delivering a little touch of heat. Very nice. You can't see it, but the burger had a nice crust to it. Man, that was so good. I have tried this on burgers by itself. It's also quite good there. It will be good on wings. That's the big question, right? I think the nature of this sauce steers it really, really, really hard at red meat. It's a joy. This burger's a complete mess. I put too much of the mushroom sauce on it because I wanted to pretty it up for you guys. I wanted to make it pretty for you. And I made myself a sloppy mess. So good though, oh my gosh. I don't think I can really call this a 3 though. There's times that I do these videos like now, and I really, really wish you guys out there. I use guys, by the way, generally, meaning guys and gals. No real distinction, or you know, non-gendered as well. Everybody's welcome in the temple. Everybody come on in. Temple of Flame is open to torch everyone. But I really wish whoever's watching this could taste this, because it is just, sometimes I achieve magnificence when I make stuff. I'm a very hard critic on myself. Most of the time I think it's okay to maybe very good at the high end. Every once in a while, I'll hit a shot in the dark though. And we'll ascend higher to greatness or magnificence. That is this. That is really, really, really good. Easily the best burger I've had. Actually, probably the best burger I've had in the last 2 to 3 years. Like, all of the elements are just coming together. And you know, some people out there might not have even been born when that sandwich was around. So they don't have the flavor frame of reference. every time I do one of these videos where I make something, where I make something of myself, I make something by myself. Every time though, I try to make it so that you can just go buy the hot sauce. You can just go buy. So the Swiss that they use on that burger is a processed Swiss. It's closer to like a white American cheese. The cheese I used was the Sargento Baby Swiss because I don't like the processed stuff. I just used ballpark buns. The blend of the burger, I think it was either 80-20 or 85-15, one of the two. I don't recall which. Angus. So if you want to recreate this, like all the tools are at your disposal to do it yourself, at home. And that's something I really try to do a lot of because, if somebody watches it and said, I don't believe it or I want to do that for myself, I want you to have the tools so you can do that. I'm not trying to keep anything proprietary. We can all enjoy stuff together, So, yeah, that last bit there so we had the mushroom gravy and the golden mushroom, what mushrooms did they use here? I don't even know. I've never had this soup prior to today when I made this. It doesn't seem to list out what mushrooms they use. So, anyway, though, the mushroom gravy, the mushroom soup, the shiitakes, the portobellos, I just had regular button mushrooms that I added into it. The kind that you buy that are already in the can, you just throw them on pizza or whatever. I added those as well. And then I just played around with the seasoning a little bit. Mostly pepper and just really, I went really light on the seasoning because I wasn't trying to recreate it one-to-one. I just wanted to get a base that was close enough so I could add this to it. And it just came out so spectacularly where you had all the stuff really combining in that last little bit there I had with the spoon. Is just, you couldn't have asked for a better cap. Just magnificent. I don't really enjoy this though on chicken. And I've had it on strips. I have not had it on wings as of yet. That will be coming for the Q1 2024 wing thing, where I try to make sure that all the Hot One sauces I do, I at least attempt at least once on wings to see kind of where they fall. But this one might get pulled out of the rotation after that video and just be strictly a sauce where I use it for, like a grill sauce. It's not quite enough. Yeah, I think I am going to try it with steak. It's not quite enough, though, to be what I would say is a gravy or a sauce like that by itself. But when you combine it with another something like that, it just magnifies everything to a wonderful extent. So I like this sauce a lot better, honestly, after having that burger. I like this sauce way better than I did before. I still don't love it, but, and that's what it is with sauces. A lot of time it comes down to just the right application. So, when you plunk it down $10 or more on a bottle of sauce, having to pitch it hurts, right? I always say life is too short for bad sauces, but I go through every avenue I can think of to try to use them before I wind up tossing anything with, sauce still left in the bottle. Yeah, that the right application. This is pretty solid. Definitely, in no way was this a sauce. Did it turn out to be what I had thought it would be or expected it to be? I guess, but tremendous in the right application. Just it really is amazing how much it adds to that to what I just had in front of you guys here. So, but anyway, that's good for this one. The Torchbearer Mushroom Mayhem. I almost said Mushroom Madness. Hope I didn't say Mushroom Madness earlier. The Mushroom Mayhem Hot Sauce.
Number 4. In peace. To serve the flame.